back at it. This is like a 2-week, 3-week process in the making, but we finally made it happen today. So we got the conductor with us in the building, live in the flesh.
What's up, people? What's up? What's up, Clifton?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Hey, I can't complain, man. I woke up this morning, you know.
That's a good sign. That's a good start. That's how it all. That's how it all begins. Everything after that is on you.
Yes, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. Give thanks to the Almighty. You gotta thank Him for that, for wake you up every morning.
Right, no doubt, definitely. No matter what you might have gone through the day before or the week before, you're here today. A new chance to start it all over and do whatever you got to do. Speaking of which, let's jump right into this because we a little bit behind the time, but we're gonna catch up. So explain to me before we even get into where you from, what you've been doing. Just off the top, this is album number 23.
Yes.
What was your mind state at album number one compared to album number 23?
The same.
Wow.
It's all the same from album 1 to album 100, volume 100, and beyond that. You know, I do music because I love to do music. I love the process of using my creativity where you have no limitations. The only limitations you have as a producer or a creator at music or anything as a creator to make up something that doesn't exist, to take it from your mind and bring it to the real world, to the physical. You know, that's I get happy when I think about that, but that's the freedom of producing and having that field from album 1 to album 23. Is every album I put the same love in it. The only difference is every album I get better and better. I learn things that I didn't know the previous album. So if you listen to each one of my albums from 1 to 23, and I'm putting out 24 and 25 by the end of this month, so stay tuned. You will see the love in it, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, so this is like a vessel for you, just a way to just unleash all the creativity that's in you, just to get it out.
Yeah, I always loved music since I was a kid. You know, I used to dance, used to be in dance groups. We used to win contests and stuff, city contests, from rapping and talent shows and acting in talent shows. Always been in a part of that. It's always been a part of me. And music is one of the outlets I use for my creativity. I do all kind of things. You know, I do video. I make incense, handcraft incense, make men and women body oils, fragrances for my other company. Music is just one of my vessels. I do a lot of other things. I have another company called Creative Fragrances that I make men and women colognes and perfumes and incense and body soaps and all that stuff, and more to come on that. But music is just one of my vessels for like a lot of producers. A lot of producers that are really creative, we don't just produce. We do a lot of other things. You know, you're a producer too.
Right.
So you know this, you do a lot of things and you're creative at a lot of other things. Music is just one of the outlets as a creator that a creator uses to express his creativity.
Right. Do you find any of the other outlets that you have help the music? Like the fact that you do a cologne or incense, does that somehow build your productive skills or creativity in some way? How does that work?
Absolutely, because everything's connected. Think about this. I'm a music. Okay, first of all, Creative Theory Music is my record label. I'm the founder, CEO of the label. Also the producer, I'm the publisher, and also an ISRC manager on that label. What I do with my music, I use my music is for advertising as well. So if I want to do a commercial for my incense or my soaps or my colognes, I can put the music together. If I want to rap on it, or I can get somebody to sing, or I can do something to, you know, just for the advertising feel of it.
Right.
So it's all connected. And that's what I want all the producers out there to know. You're not just a producer. You're a creator. A creator is much different than a producer just makes music. If you're more creative and you do a lot of other things, you're a creator. Production is just part of your creation.
Right. Just prior to the first album, what made you want to put the first album out? Like, what was going on that said, all right, you know what? I do all these things. Now I want to put an album out. So what was the process of the very first album coming out?
Man, the very first album was rough. It was rough. I came to the conclusion that I'm tired of chasing labels, trying to prove, hey, I can do this. I'm talented. I have this craft or this skill set or this blessing, and it's a skill, and I'm very creative. Give me a chance. And man, I've been doing this for a long time, Clifton, and it's just like, you put a lot into this, Man, I kind of got. I'll get back. What's the question one more time?
No, just the process, like the first
okay,
album. The first album.
The process. Yes, I was going through a lot of stuff. I put my first album out at the library because they had free Wi-Fi.
Right.
So it was kind of crazy, man. I had this thing in my mind. I woke up one day. I was staying in Norfolk, Virginia, and I woke up one morning and I said, "Man, I'm going to Atlanta." I had like $173 on me in my account. That's all I had, and a half tank of gas. I got up and drove all the way to Atlanta. And at that time, I didn't even know. I guess it was the vibration. At that time, they had the AC3, the all three coasts, A3.
Right. Wow, that's going back.
And it was crazy because I didn't know. I just had in my mind, I'm going down here and I'm getting the deal. I'm getting the deal. And I didn't get a deal, bro. I drove.
In Atlanta. This is Atlanta, right?
Yeah, from Norfolk to Atlanta. I went down there. I seen some friends that I knew that happened to let me stay with them for those 3 days that I was there. Because like I said, I only had $173. But I got to meet some interesting people. And what sparked off everything for me, I went down there looking for a record deal, but I went to the mall and I met some artists. They was just sitting there rapping and stuff. I said, hey, I rap too. I got a record label. I do music, blah, blah, blah. We conversated. And one of the artists was like, hey, have you ever heard of Song Trader? And I was like, no, what's that? They said, well, it's a distributor. If you produce music, you can put your music on there and they're distributed. I was like, okay. So that day in the mall, I went to the Apple store and got online and I looked at Song Trader. I said, okay, this is a distributor. I paid my fee. And from that day, October the 3rd, I was a label. And October the 18th, I put my first album out. Okay. And that's when I went to the library and I put it out using no free Wi-Fi. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I put an album out. The cover looked cool and all this. It's going to go viral. That was in 2018. We're in 2021, bro. Wow. It's a process when you got to do everything yourself. Right. But it makes you respect the game even that much more. Once you go through each step, it's not easy, bro. You get a lot of no's, you get a lot of turn downs, I put a lot of submissions, music for advertising. I put like 1,000 out. I got 1,000 no's. Wow. So I said, you know what? Let me chill. Let me try something else. Let me do this. So I said, okay, let me focus on doing these albums. So that first album, then I did the second, third, fourth, and it just became like an outlet to release creativity, right, to give people that love music something to listen to that's different than what's out playing now. That's why I always say the next new wave of music. Because I want to give people something that's good quality, something creative, something that's not like everything else that's out, not knocking everything else that's out, because it's some good music, but it's sad when everybody else try to do everything that's out already. Right. Show your creativity. Don't try to use your creativity trying to be like somebody else. Use your creativity to be yourself and make everybody else want to be like you. Gotcha.
Okay, so this album that we have right now got 10 tracks on it. Give us a breakdown on what the first one is called. I have it as a 1 minute BBM interview.
Yes. Okay. That's the song right now. That first song you're about to play is off of my first album. And right now, this is 3 years later, that song off my first album, I have over like 140 something songs out right now in rotation on 200 platforms, 78 countries. But that song right there on TikTok has over 1 million views and growing. Crazy. It's like one of the favorite songs on TikTok. So that's why I sent that song to you. Okay. And all these songs, it's not an album. I just took different songs and just sent them in. It's not off an album, but I'm showing you some of these songs are not on albums yet, so it's like a preview. I think it's like from 5 on are like songs that haven't even released yet.
Okay, all right. Well, let's jump into it. 1 minute BBM interview, the first track in this, I guess, like a compilation, we'll say. We got the conductor in the building. This is the Creative Theory. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, so that was a 1 minute BBM interview. The name of the track. We got 10 tracks, so we had to cut it a little bit short just so that we can get everything in. But we got the conductor with us in the building. I know we got 9 more tracks and they are going to be fire. Is there any particular reason you name tracks what you name them? A lot of producers have interesting names for tracks, and I'm seeing some interesting names in the ones up here. Is there any reason, or how do you go about naming a track?
Well, pretty much whatever pops in my head is like a feeling, because it's like most producers can relate to this. It's like an emotional attachment. Like every beat you make is like your child or a representative of you or something. So the way I name beats is just whatever comes to my mind right there at that moment. I just save as, 1 minute. I think with 1 minute, I don't know if I made that one in 1 minute and I was just, putting stuff together, but I can't remember because that was so long ago. That's like 3 years ago and I have so many beats, man. So,
right.
But it's pretty much, a feeling, each beat, something to pop in my head or a thought or emotion or something I seen or something. And I just attach that to the beat because that beat sometimes give you that feel and sometimes not, because everybody's going to feel something different to each track. So.
Most definitely. What's the process for you creating? Like, how do you get in your creative space or your zone? Is there any particular thing you got to be doing or a place you got to be? You got to be on the front porch. You got to be on the back. Like, what do you get? How do you get in the zone?
That's interesting. I can never say it. It happens spontaneous. And that's one thing I love about music. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to sit down and make a beat or create a beat concept. But sometimes it's like you might be riding a bike or driving a car or swimming and you might be doing something or somebody might mention something and it might click something in your mind. And it might be the process of hearing a title to the song before you even create the beat. You're like, oh, that would be a nice title. Let me think of, okay. And I tuck that away. And then when I'm sitting down, if it comes back, I create something based on something someone said or something I seen. But I can't really give you an answer to that because spontaneous creativity is just what it is.
Right.
And you as a creator, you know that as well. You might be hanging out with the fellas or playing pool, and something might just pop in your mind. And sometimes you need to write it down, or if you can't remember it, write it down or save it on a voice message or something. But stuff just, that's how music is with me. I really don't try to make it too hard. I just let it flow.
Right. Now, you said something earlier which kind of caught my attention as far as things kind of filtering down into the physical or manifesting in the physical. How much do you think when you create beats, because a lot of beats out there sound the same, so how much do you think it's sometimes you hear something and it's kind of lodged in your subconscious mind, and you will create something thinking it's your beat, but it's something that you heard somewhere else that's just been lodged in the back of your mind. So how often do you think that happens to you, where it's not necessarily your beat per se, but it's something you heard and it just kind of lingers in your mind and you kind of replay what you heard?
I'm gonna be straight up with you, Clifton. I done heard beats. I've been producing for a long time, a lot longer than some of these producers have been living, man. I think I made my first beat when I was in Germany in '94. So I've been doing this for a long time. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't heard beats as a producer and as a listener and a connoisseur of music. I've heard beats that I actually played and listened to it trying to mimic that beat. But what ended up happening is I can't mimic that beat. So what ends up happening is something that sounds similar, but it's all my creativity with it. So I'm saying that to say it's okay for producers, even myself or anyone, to hear a beat that's out there that's really popping and really hitting, and you're like, oh man, I want to make a beat like that.
Right.
I don't think nobody want to say I want to make that beat, because you can't make that beat, is already made.
Right.
So everything after that will be a replica of that beat. So the best thing to do is nothing wrong with that. If you're a very creative person, you can listen to a track. See, like it's beats now that I listen to, I'm like, okay, I won't do anything like that beat. I might just use the tempo. I'll see what that beat that's popping, what tempo it is, and then I use my own creativity and try to create something similar, or not even similar. Next new wave, man, I ain't even gonna lie. I don't try to be like no other producer out there. Everything I do is different. It might sound similar. Somebody might be like, oh, that sounds like so-and-so, but just listen to my music. It's nobody out there like me, and I'm not trying to be conceited, because every producer should want that. You should want to be identified as yourself, not like, oh, that sounds like him or her, because there's a lot of hot female producers out there. There's a lot of hot younger producers out there. It's a lot of people out there producing now.
Right.
So the best thing to do is just be you.
Okay.
Because that's all I try to do. It's hard enough trying to be me, so why I'm trying to be somebody else?
Right, got you. Okay.
You
With that being said, we're going to jump into track number 2. It's called I Think I'm Falling For You, volume Costa Rica. So you currently reside in Costa Rica?
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, chilling.
Okay. Originally from Indiana, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Fort Wayne, Indiana, born and raised. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to this one. I Think I'm Falling For You, volume Costa Rica. Let's do it.
Starlight, moonshine, we're like so high, and it feels right inside. Your love divine, like ooh, 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 ooh. I think I'm falling for ya. I think I'm falling for ya. I think I'm falling for ya. Starlight, moonshine, we're like so high, and it feels right inside.
I like that. I Think I'm Falling For You. Who's the singer on that?
Yeah, It's a lot of music out there, and I'm saying that because you can get samples off of what is it? Tunes, Splice.
Splice is big, yeah.
And I try to use all of them, man. I really try not to stay stationed on one thing, and sometimes that can be hazardous because if you so spaced out,
it's just
you know,
too
yeah,
much.
you never can hone in on your craft.
Right.
So I think being that I've been producing for so long, I honed in on my craft. Now that I have that, not saying I'm better than no one. I'm only trying to be the best I can be. I'm trying to be better than I was the day before. And if I can stay on that journey every day, I will eventually meet my ultimate self in the end before we leave this earth, because we all going to leave one day.
That's the story. That's how it's told to us. So the next track is called Just Kidding Lovely. But before we get to that, and you mentioned you know, the different outlets you can use to get samples and sounds and stuff like that. What's your arsenal looking like? What's your studio setup looking like? What kind of equipment you got? What kind of, you know, hardware, software?
Right now, I'm at bare minimum. I'm just with my computer right now and some speakers and a microphone. But my applications or DAWs that I use are Logic Pro 10, Ableton, MPC, and a lot of different plugins and different things like that. What is it? Can't even think of the name of it. I just use a lot of software right now. My hardware is to the minimum. So, because when I came from the States over here, you know, I couldn't take everything. So I had to just be mindful and stuff. So right now it's like 2 turntables and a mic. It's just my computer and my speakers.
Okay, back to the foundation. All good. All right, well, let's get into Just Kidding Lovely. Once again, this is the Conductor, the Creative Theory album, number 23. Let's get it.
Yes.
I've got an idea. It's a one shot.
Well, you had me worried. I thought you were going to let me down.
He wanted to take her in his arms and smother her with kisses and drown himself in the beauty of her soul, but
Oh, I do the live ones too. Yes, I know. I saw your act in the theater. You're really quite good.
What kind of genres inspire or influence your sound? I know I heard some jazz, obviously, in that. Is there any other genres that people might not suspect that actually influence your sound or that you're really keen on digging into?
Everything. Anything that can make a sound inspires me. Birds, bees, a sound in a car accident, praying that nobody got hurt, splashing water. I mean, genres, jazz, hip hop, rock and roll, country. Okay. I got some country songs out. Like I did a couple of country songs. I did a few rock songs, house music, go-go music that's really big in DC area.
DMV, yeah.
You know, I just love music. I never sit down and say, I'm gonna make this hip hop beat. I sit down and whatever song or sounds funnel through at that moment, that's where we're going.
Right.
So, you know, unless I'm in the studio and someone says, okay, I need a beat like this. That's after they go through my catalog of all those beats and they don't find some, which is a rarity. Well, it never happened. I ain't gonna lie. But if they want something right there on the spot, we'll work on something right there on the spot. And whatever the feeling they give, their vibrations, they feelings and emotion that they want to put in the song, I have to be able to read that and feel that and interject that into the song or beat that we're about to make for that song.
Right. We're gonna get into track number 4, I'm Walking, but before we do that, what's the strange, if there is a specific thing you've sampled, what's the strangest thing you've ever sampled?
Wow, that's a good question, Clifton. Maybe some insect sounds, because I was doing an intro where you had like the birds in the background and cars and the people walking, and I try to make it real authentic. So I try to put sounds of insects, like people talking, and you hear a insect fly by or something during that conversation. That's just using creativity. You don't see too many people do stuff like that. Just those little intricate details make a song or make a difference in how someone looks at us or hears a song. Just little slight details like that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into I'm Walking. Maybe we'll hear some insects in this one, maybe not, but let's check it out. All right.
No, not this one.
All right. This is the Conductor. This is the Creative Theory album. This track is called I'm Walking. Let's do it. All right, back at it once again. This is the Conductor with us, reporting live from Costa Rica. That was the track called I'm Walking. So I hear some car effects in the background, some speeding cars. So there you go with the sampling.
Yeah, just a little bit. There's some strange stuff. Some people would think it's strange, but it's just a part of the routine. You know, part of the creativity. There's no limitations. I don't look at music as any limitations, like how you look at certain things in life, like you have limitations to this or limitations to that. Music is so creatively free to do whatever. Some stuff might go, some stuff might not go. Some people might love something that you don't even like yourself, and everybody might hate that beat that's your favorite beat. It's like that sometimes.
Speaking of which, have you ever sold a beat that you thought was whack, but the artist liked it? What was that process like? Not to say, I mean, most producers don't want to call their own beats whack, but it might have been a beat that you thought was just less than, subpar. But that artist is right.
But see, and then that's kind of, when we think, like I said, when we think opinion is just what it is. It's really no fact in opinion, because everybody's opinion is their own, and they have the right to like what they want to like. So I might make a beat that I feel as though out of all the beats I created, I say, this is not one of my best beats. I might even say, to me right now, my emotion, I might in my mind say, this might be one of my wackest beats. But one of my wackest beats might go 100 million on TikTok or on YouTube or on Spotify or all these other platforms out here, or Twitch or whatever. And that might be the beat that you might be like, I hate that beat, that's whack. But that might be the beat that feeds you and help you to progress in your journey in your career as a producer.
Got you. Now, you started off mentioning as a creative, controlling many things, the label, the ISRC, sampling, and publishing. So as a publisher, what's your take on sampling versus just creating your own original music?
Well, I stayed up nights on end and weeks on end thinking about that same thing. And when you think about it, all the music that has been digitally created over the years, not just this era, but years and years after they stopped, doing live performances with live equipment, and it started being a digital age, when people then started using creativity to take a sample from a James Brown, or take a sample from Isaac Hayes, or Garth Brooks, or all these entertainers in the world. And not even just entertainers in different genres. I mean, people nowadays, you see it on TikTok, YouTube, a lot of producers are making their own sounds. So isn't that sampling? They hit something, they record it, and now they use that as a kick. That's sampling a sound that they created, and now that's a part of their music. So sampling, I had to look at it because I used to hate sampling, man. I used to hate sampling. I used to be like, everything I have to create from scratch. And I did that for a long time. But nowadays, that's why I say I use what I for creating stuff from scratch, to using the other equipment and other things that are available to producers. And that is samples. Right. You might see a sample and take one little thing out of it. You might find a sample and they might have the hottest snare you ever heard, that you take that out of that sample. Isn't that sampling? You took a snare that you didn't create yourself. You took it from something else. So now when I look at sampling, as long as a creator is very creative and using sampling, hey, it's no limits, because it's billions of samples that we, as a producer, we could never use every sample or every sound or every idea we ever have. It's totally impossible if you're creative like that. Right. If you're in it like I am. Like I said, I do this because I love it. I'm building my empire from the ground up, and I'm not trying to rush. I'm not trying to take no quick money, because when you take quick money, then you owe. I don't want to owe nobody nothing. I'm a struggle. I'm going through the struggles. I want to be at the end of the line and be like, hey, it was worth it.
Right.
And it's not just me, it's the creator.
Right.
That's walking me through this journey. I'm in the passenger seat, he driving, bro. So I just put on my seatbelt, let him drive.
And you don't want no drama with the creator.
None.
Speaking of which, the next track we got coming up, You Don't Want No Drama. This is track number 5. The conductor in the building. Let's get to
hosting,
it.
Bro.
Let's
you
get
be
to
hosting
it. You Don't Want No Drama. Track number 5. Let's get it.
Go.
All right, we back at it once again. That was You Don't Want No Drama, The Conductor. That sounded like a beat you used in a battle, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That sounds.
Because I remember that night, you was like, yeah, because I was like, it could be something that Drake could flow to.
Right.
And you was like, yeah, Drake get millions of beats from everybody around the world. But after you listen to it, you was like, oh, I could see him doing something to that. So I appreciate that respect. Because that night, you was like you was going to the beat, like you was like, yeah, you was feeling it.
Right.
So that's why I do music, man, for people to feel it. I'm not trying to be the best producer. I just, for my fans and my followers that want to listen to my music, I want to always present them with the best that I can give as far as production. I don't never want to put out no lazy music. Right. Be like, oh, okay, this sound, okay, they'll like it. No, I want to, when I make that beat, you might be going through something in your life, and that beat concept might be what soothes you. So you can be like, okay, it's not so bad after all.
Right. Got that. No doubt. So why the transition from Fort Wayne, if you can get into it, like from Indiana, Costa Rica? Was it a production thing? Was it a music thing? Or was it something totally unrelated to music?
It's a everyday, it's a everything thing.
Got you.
And that means it's a part of my journey in my life. It was one of the hardest things I had to do, first off, because I had to leave everything that I know.
Right.
Everything. My kids, my family, my friends, so I had to leave all that behind to pursue my journey.
Right.
In music. And it was a getaway. I had to filter out all the negative vibrations, and it was just so much stuff going on that was unfortunate in my life and everybody's life, because all the stuff that's going on in the world, that's affecting everybody.
Right. So
but at the same time,
this was pre-COVID or during COVID?
I left during COVID, bro.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
During the hardest time in the world to move, I had to make that move. That's why I say this journey is not mine alone. It's the Most High.
Right.
It's leading me on this journey, because I left when you couldn't move. So that's another thing to think about. Okay. But yeah, it's an everyday thing. It's a everything thing with this journey that I'm on. I needed a different atmosphere. I needed a different location. I needed a place where I could go and relax and think, leave, don't have to worry about all this and all that and all of the world and all the pressure coming down on you. I needed somewhere where I said, you know what? I'm going to get away from everything. And once I accomplish this goal that most people don't see, a lot of people think us producers are crazy, you need to get a real job and you need to do this and you need to do that. I done heard everything. I done been through everything. I lived in my car, so it's a lot to this journey. One day, once I write that documentary, people will understand what I actually had to go through to even present the music that you're listening to. Right. And it's not, even if people don't listen to it, I'm still make music.
That's crazy though.
But I've been through a lot, man.
Right. The fact that you had to leave the US, like you had to leave the whole country to do what you want to do as a music producer, that's crazy. But that's a story that, people can relate to, like having to get out of situations, make sacrifices. A lot of people move across the country, maybe from east to LA or something like that, or wherever they might move, but they have to make those drastic changes to pursue what it is they want to do. So that's interesting. But let's get into track number 6, Mass Killing Skit. We got the conductor with us, Fort Wayne, Indiana zone, but Costa Rica zone at the moment. So Mass Killings, track number 6. Let's get it.
It seems to be a sudden general explosion of mass homicide.
Mass killing skit. We were just talking about the pandemic, and the track happens to be mass killing skit. Well, we're not gonna get into that CV word. We might get shut down midstream.
You're crazy, man.
So we won't get into the CV word. I've seen so many YouTube streams cut. I actually bookmark YouTube videos, and by the next time I go back to actually watch it, it's cut. Like they took it off.
Yeah, well, this is coincidental that all this conversation ended up to that song. It's not meant like that. I just did that song just to, it's just been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of shootings and stuff.
Crazy.
And just from that inspired that song. And that inspired that beat, that hard, like, you know, that's
right.
That's a replica of something. That beat right there has been made before. I just put it a little of my touch to it, you know?
Right. It almost took me back to like a breakdance vibe, like the breakdance days had that kind of energy. To it.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's a lot going on in the world, and it's for everybody to educate themselves about what's going on. I'm not out here trying to say this is going on or that is going on, because even the stuff I might think is going on could be wrong. And the stuff that I don't think is going on. So I don't try to get caught up in them and all that. I just try to do the research for myself and keep it to myself.
Right.
Because sometimes you give information out, people think you're crazy. So, you know, I just say to each his own. If people don't want to know, if that's what they want, this is the key to be happy. Allow people to do whatever it takes to make them happy. Let them do it, and do whatever it takes to make you happy.
Facts. With that being said, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to get into track number 7 called Quick, Fast, in a Hurry. Don't worry, Flavor Flav vision ain't blurry. Let's do it. Quick, Fast, in a Hurry. Number 7, The Conductor. Let's get it.
Well, you see, we weren't as fortunate as most people.
What's the hip hop scene like in Costa Rica?
Well, it's pretty much the hip hop scene is everywhere, man. I don't care. You can go to anywhere on this earth, and hip hop is a culture. It's a way of living. It's a part of everything else. Everything's connected, you know. But it's like anywhere else in the world. It's a lot of people listen to hip hop here. They love hip hop. They listen to all kind of music. It's very open. You know, a lot of people listen to a variety of different music, but hip hop is, yes, of course, one of those genres people tend to listen to here.
It's like the voice of the youth, pretty much. You find
Pretty
young
much.
people, you find hip hop.
Young, old,
Right.
the hip hop is ageless.
Right. I mean, yes, I do agree, but how can I say this? Because I've heard a lot of the OGs, like the KRS, sometimes like people like KRS-One, that generation will say like hip hop is the voice of the youth. So it doesn't mean that an older MC can't still be in the game or an older producer can't be in the game, but it's the youth. It's the culture of the youth.
Yeah, who says that producer doesn't have that younger inner self?
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
Right.
No matter how old you get in this life with the physical age, you should always never let that child in you die.
Right.
You should always have that child. It's even in the Bible and all these other religious books that you want that inner child.
Right.
Even God said you need to have that inner child. So, hip hop to me is ageless, because if it is based on younger, long as you have a younger aura about yourself and you express that younger side to you, you always fit in at some point.
Got you.
And if you don't fit in, you make your own path, and then people will follow. You make your own lane. So sometimes you have to make something that people don't see yet or believe in.
Okay. With that being said, let's get into track number 8. This is called Tickets for Two. I don't know in Costa Rica, but up here, there's not a lot of tickets for two going on because you still can't go to theaters. You still can't go to too many things. But hey, Tickets for Two is the name of the track. Let's jump into it. That's crazy. That was real dope. Very, very dope. I never heard that in a battle before, so I'm tempted to ask you, how do you distinguish between your battle beats and your song beats? Because that could have, even though it wasn't like battle beat, I think that could have done damage in a battle.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, how I look at it, man, I done had some bad moments in them battles, Clifton. I'm not trying to bring up old word. I didn't actually, and it's documented because it's online. You can actually go back and see 2 battles where I actually won to move to the second stage.
Right.
But then something happened, a glitch in the computer, somebody didn't vote, this and that, and they did a recount, and I ended up losing. So that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth because I wasn't using my mind. I was letting emotions get to me, because to me, it's not about winning on Battle of the Beatmakers. You're a winner if your music is played on there to be in a contest to begin with. You can lose every single time that you're on there, because you have to realize you're networking.
Right.
Your music is being sent to different places of the world. This is a worldwide network. Right. So as a producer, I done lost all the time. I've been on there like 4 or 5 times. But the first few times I took it like, oh man, this and that, and it just made me go back to the lab and be like, oh, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna smash every producer on there. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. So if you take the energy in a good way, not to say, oh, I'm gonna smash every producer, but I'm gonna make myself a better producer.
Right.
And then come back to the contest and see what I got.
Right.
Every time I got better and people started Instagramming me and following me, and I made new friends. And that's, to me, that's what it boils down to. Not everybody would love to win the money on there, of course, but unless that's your job, it's other things about production, syncs, advertising for businesses. I mean, it's so much more than just a contest. This is just, like I say every time we're in a contest, when I'm in the chat room, this is like producers going to the gym to work out.
Right.
We're going to the gym to work out. You're getting better. You're lifting. You're making a beat. You're pumping an iron. You're learning a new avenue, how to make more money, or how to advertise your music. You're learning. You're getting connections with people in different countries that become your friends, and they can put you on platforms over there you never heard of, and you can blow up over there and don't even know it.
Right.
So I mean, it's so much, man. If you have to open your mind and stop being okay. Battle of the Beat Makers is the only way. If I don't get it on Battle of the Beat Makers, I'm never going to make it. And it's sorry to say, it's some people out there that think like that, and I'm here to say don't think like that.
Or they feel it's just win or lose, and it's not just win or lose. You know what I mean? We had many losers that gone on to win Grammys, platinum records, and they lost first round knockouts
off of this platform.
Right.
So I don't look at it as a win or lose, because if you're on a platform and you're a great host, and I'm saying that from the heart, man, because you're a good guy, and you're giving us producers the access and networking skills that some of us don't even have or not good at. But if you come here and get in a chat room and we conversate, and you see it's a lot of producers that might think like you and might not think like you, but you learn from good and bad, and you take that as good information. It's a win-win situation, period.
Right. All right. Now, with that being said, let's get to the next track. It's called Now That I Have Your Attention, which is the whole point of being on the platform. You might not win, you might not lose, whatever happens, but at least you got someone's attention. You connect with somebody, and that's the point. Marketing, networking marketing is a big part of the whole thing. So you
win. It's a win-win, even if you win the money or you don't.
Right.
You still you're getting exposed. Your music's getting exposed into the world.
Right. Okay, so let's get to it. Now That I Have Your Attention is the name of the track. We got the conductor in the building with us. The Creative Theory is the name of the album number 23 to be exact. Let's do it.
There's an old newspaper superstition that the first big check you get, you put in the lining of your hat.
All right, so that was track number 9, Now That I Have Your Attention. It's been a dope journey. You know, we got a chance to chop it up with the conductor just to dig back the layers a bit, just to see a little bit behind the man, behind the music.
Sir.
A lot of times we have producers on the platform and we hear their beats week after week, but we never really get to see who this person is that's providing these beats. They might say some slick stuff in the chat and you're curious, like, who's this person? You know what I mean?
Right.
You just want to figure out who the person is behind the sounds, behind the music, behind the interesting sample flips, behind the interesting drops, behind the interesting sample selections, sound designing, and it's dope just to chop it up. That's why we created a beat tape breakdown, just for that purpose. So let's get to the final track, Put My Foot in It.
I want to say what's up to everybody that's in the chat room. I haven't been able to respond to the chats because some technical crap, but at least you can hear the audio.
Right.
I want to say thank you, and it's all about positive energy. I support every producer that's on the platform, because every producer that's been on the platform in the contest, there's no whack producers on the contest anyways in the Battle of the Beat Makers, because every producer has at least one song that I'll be like, I can rock with that. Every producer.
Definitely.
So
I can agree with that.
Every producer is doing a thing. If you're struggling and with your own confidence about doing music, don't worry about that. Close all that out, because this music is your journey, not everybody else's, to tell you, oh, you're doing good. It feels good to hear that, but you need to tell yourself that. You need to believe in yourself, saying, you know what? Hey, this beat might not be the best one, but tomorrow I'm gonna make one better. And then the next day I'm gonna make one better than that, and just keep growing like that. And eventually you'll be that person and maybe beyond who you thought you could be.
Dope. I told people a story about that years ago about myself when I used to write. And I used to intentionally write a rap as best as I could write it, intentionally tear it up and throw it away, and force myself to write better. Tear that up, throw it away, force myself to write better, nonstop. Just as
and
a
then
test.
that final one, woo!
Not even to get to a final one, but just to train myself that way, that no matter how good it was, I'm gonna tear it up and write something even better than that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's different. It's not like a beat you can kind of like save somewhere. Like I was literally ripping it up. It's gone.
Right.
There's no way to get it back, but I'm gonna force myself to write something even better than that.
And that's a form of motivation.
Right.
Some people might call it crazy, but that's their opinion. If that's your form of motivation, somebody say it's crazy. Some people might be like, oh, I'm gonna try that. So everybody has the right to believe and think how they want to think, but that's a good way of looking at it. I might have to try that. That's something I might have to put in my archives there, Clifton.
All right. With that being said, we're gonna put our foot in it. This is the final track off of Creative Theory, Conductor, Fort Wayne's own, currently residing in Costa Rica. Let's get to the final track, and then we're gonna wrap up. Any thoughts into why this was the last track on the album? How did this become the final closer? This is what you want people to leave off with. Why did you choose this one?
Because I always stress trying to do something that nobody else is doing. And that's why if you look at any of my advertising or anything, I always try to say the next new wave of music. Something everybody is so used to hearing, everything is out and it's all sounding the same. Not saying it's not hot, but I like a variety of things. Like if food, you might love pizza, but you don't want to eat pizza every day. You might like to have a hamburger now and then, or some vegetarian food, or you might want to, eat healthy or whatever you want. You just don't want to have the same thing every day, all day. And that's what we hear on the radio all the time. Not putting no artist down because it's a lot of hot music, but it's a lot of the same music. Throw a little variety in it. So that's what this song is about. Put my foot in it. Some next new wave with a old hip hop feel, with a next new wave feel. So check it out. I hope y'all enjoy it.
All right.
Conductor, peace.
Put my foot in it. Conductor, Creative Theory. Let's get it.
I'm dragging the old ball and chain around.
Well, I'm sorry. I was getting ready to put my foot in.
I know you was. That's why I stopped you.
There is one vital fact I would like to submit.
All right, so there you have it. Put my foot in it. The Conductor. This is the 23rd album from the Conductor. So for other producers who need inspiration or to wonder if this is worth the journey, they might have dropped their first project. They might have made their 10th beat. We have producers on the platform who just started producing this year. So it's a journey. It's a long way to go. It's not an overnight thing. Even producers who are on and popping, who you might consider on and popping, they might have had 10 years in the game prior to you discovering them. It's not like they just came out of nowhere. Whoever that is, don't matter whoever it is, they've been in their craft for years prior to you hearing them. There might be the fluke that popped up a year ago and doing their thing, but the vast majority, like 99%, have years in the game before they finally get on. So with that being said, we're going to sign off. Salute to the Conductor. It was dope to chop it up with you. I'm sure we'll have you back on the platform. If not in the battle, then at least in the chats.
I would say first and foremost, become the owners of your own material. 100%. Go to ASCAP BMI, get your artists and your publishing, So when you publish your songs, you get 100% of everything. I get 100% of all my music. I get 100%, unless I have to cut a deal with my distributor, like 20%, but that's as much. I get 80. And you need to be in control of your music. You take the time to create it. Why should somebody come and take your music, put it out there, make you popular, but they make more money than you do off of something you created? So all I'm saying is make sure you own your music. That'll give you a lot of leverage. And it's your music. You should have full ownership of it, unless you in a business deal with somebody. Get ISRC. That's a digital code that you put on your music that tracks every one of your songs anywhere it goes in the world. It's like a digital social security number for your songs. And get Song Trust or somebody like that can monitor your music all around the world. So I had a song off my first album that was on TikTok. I didn't even know it was on TikTok. When I found out that it was on TikTok, it was a fluke. I just was on TikTok and I said, hey, that sounds like my song. I went on it, and at that time I had 500,000 views, and I didn't even know my song was on TikTok. So, but it's okay because it has that code on it that tracks everything. So when the money comes in, it all comes back to me. So I urge every producer that's out there, keep producing, keep doing it, but don't give your music away for free. Be the owners of your own stuff. And that's the best thing I can give any of y'all out there. Not just music. If you create anything, try your best to get full ownership of what you create. You're the creator. You deserve that, unless you're in partnership with somebody and y'all create it together, then y'all split like that. But if you do it, make sure you get it all yourself. Facto. And that's pretty much it.
Facto. All right. Well, wise words spoken. With that being said, we're going to sign off the conductor. We'll chop it up again